Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to sit down and try a brand new foundation, and this is a drugstore foundation. I feel like a lot of people are excited for. It just kind of dropped out of nowhere. So I did get my hands on the new e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I do want to do a wear test and a try on and just see how this looks on the skin initially and then how it wears throughout the day. So we're just going to be trying this on. We're going to see how this plays with my other products, and then I will be checking in and doing a wear test for at least a good 8 hours or so I can get this video out to you guys, because I know a lot of you are waiting on my thoughts. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. I will have this link down below, as well as all the other makeup that I end up wearing in my description box. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you're excited about this new foundation, or you just like first impressions on brand new products, give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. I always like to go over the product claims and price and all the information before I get into the demo. So let's talk a little bit about what they claim this foundation does. This is the new e.l.f. Cosmetics Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This retails for $8, which I was really happy to see. I do feel like drugstore prices are out of hand. Pretty much all prices are, but drugstore prices are really getting up there to like $20 at the drugstore. And I know that e.l.f. has come out with a ton of really nice dupes, and with that, they have elevated their packaging and their formulas. So even e.l.f. has been a little bit more expensive than they used to be, but I'm glad to see this drop, that it's just $8. It's under $10. You can go to the drugstore and grab it if you need it, if you're on a budget, and I feel like we need to see more products in this price range. Now with that, you're not gonna get crazy packaging, but sometimes I don't think it really matters. You just want something that's going to perform. So this comes in 36 shades, and it says it's a long-lasting, hydrating, liquid foundation that delivers just right medium buildable coverage with a satin finish. They say this is a breathable formula that doesn't look or feel cakey. It is infused with 1% hydrating hibiscus complex. It's supposed to be non-comedogenic. It's also vegan and cruelty-free. You do also get 1 ounce in the tube, which is pretty standard for a foundation. Now, the one thing I did want to note is I picked up the shade 22, and I actually did try this yesterday when I was filming another video. So I was filming a trying new makeup, and it just arrived, so I wanted to give it a go. But I actually pulled off the sticker that has the shade name on there, and now that I'm looking at it, I cannot see the shade anywhere. So that's something that I don't love, unless I'm missing something. If you open this, you're going to have to pull the sticker off that says the shade name, and then you don't know what shade it is. So I could see that being a problem for makeup artists, or just for even YouTubers trying to talk about their foundation and they have no idea what shade they're showcasing. It's just a little bit annoying that there's no shade printed on each component other than that sticker. Okay, so now that we have gone over the claims, I zoomed you guys in and I want to start applying. So for my base, I don't have anything on right now. Yesterday I did use a moisturizer from Dalba that I love, but today I'm also going to be using a moisturizer I love from Freck. I just want to test this out with different products and try to focus on products that I know work for me and work under my makeup. So I'm going to put this all over the skin. And if you're new to my channel, my brows are not done. I've been getting comments, people saying, your brows really should extend further. And I'm like, my brows are not done. I'm just starting the video. I don't finish my brows until the end. I'm also going to take a little bit of my pore smoothing and oil control primer, and I'm just going to use this on one side of my face. I want to see how this foundation does with a primer and without. See if it's one of those that needs a primer because it's not smoothing, or see if it's just flawless on its own. So I'm just going to apply this glowish blur jam just to this side of my face. Okay, so now that we have the skin prepped, I want to go ahead and start applying. So I got the shade 22. This is a warm shade. It's like a warm, light medium. You can see when I swatch it, it does not run down my hand. So it's definitely a thicker formula, and I can really feel the kind of skincare infused formula in here, which I have to be honest is not usually my favorite. I find them to be just very slippy, slidey, and almost too emollient on the skin. If you have dry skin, that's probably something that you love. But for me, having combo skin, they don't typically smooth my skin as much as I like, and they also don't wear as well. But this does claim to be long wearing. So this is what the shade I got swatches like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some on the back of my hand, and then I think I'm just going to apply a little bit to the skin. And then to blend out, I am going to use an e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush. So like I said, I did try this yesterday, but I also was trying like a lot of makeup. So I kind of want to try it today with my tried and true products, because I was testing out just some like cream bronzers, blushes, highlighters, just stuff that's different for me. This shade is definitely warmer and it's darker than my skin tone right now because my self-tan is completely gone. So I'm gonna have to pull down my neck, but I don't think it's too bad. I always like to go on the lighter side with e.l.f. because I do find that their foundations sometimes run deep on me. It's blending easily, I'm not having any issues. And I do feel like it's a good light medium coverage. You can see my redness through a little bit, and I think that really is how this product just kind of smears back and forth. It's just something that I've noticed with skincare infused foundations. Hopefully with powder, we can make it work. So you can see again, like my redness is just peeking through, and you'll see on my nose specifically, not really gonna give me that like full medium coverage. Okay, so this is what the skin is looking like with one layer of the e.l.f. foundation. I'll go ahead and zoom you in so you can really see. I do feel like it does look a little bit more hydrating than satin when you initially apply it. I wouldn't say dewy per se, but it looks pretty glowy. And if you touch it, it is pretty sticky. If you can see, like just touching it, it's going to transfer and come off. So I'm a little bit concerned about how long wear this is actually going to be. I don't think that it makes your texture look super enhanced, but it definitely doesn't do anything to smooth it. So it's kind of in the middle. It's a little bit lighter than, let's say, like the Kosas foundation or even the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin foundation, but it has a similar vibe. It's just not quite as intense and quite as emollient. I do want to try to build up a little bit just in areas like right in here and then around my nose. So I pumped out a little bit more. I do find that I get more coverage when I stipple this. And I do think that that definitely built up over those areas that I wanted more coverage. The nose is always going to be super finicky, and of course that's like the reddest part of my face. I feel like it's doing okay, but if you know, you know when you have stuff just sort of sliding on your nose. Okay, so this is what the complexion is looking like building up the e.l.f. foundation. I do feel like if you use a stippling motion and you build up just in certain areas, you can get that medium coverage, solid medium. I don't think you'd want to build it anymore because it honestly feels a little bit heavy. Again, for my skin type, if you have really dry skin, you may want to like drink this in, but this just feels a little bit heavy, a little bit sticky. It's one of those that if I touched my face, it would completely smear off. So I'm eager to get some powder on. So I want to go in next and just use my concealer and then powder. I want to see how this plays with powder, and then we will kind of finish my makeup and then see how we're sitting before we get into the wear test. For concealer, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills in number 9. This is the Magic Touch Concealer. I'm almost out of this. This is an oldie but a goodie. And I'm just gonna use the other side of the e.l.f. brush to blend this out. Okay, so everything blended out beautifully. I'm gonna go in with my setting powder. This is my holy grail. This is the Lunar Beauty in Light. This is the most smoothing powder I have ever tried. I am truly just blown away by this. I have not used any other setting powder since I got this like months ago. So I'm going to pat out any of my creasing, and then I'm taking a Beauty Blender puff. And I like to set heavily because I do have combo oily skin. But this powder is just super lightweight, so it doesn't give me that like heavy feel or appearance. but it just smooths everything out so beautifully. So you can just see how much smoother this side of my face is versus the unset side. I just cannot do unset makeup. It just feels so uncomfortable to me, and it just transfers like in a matter of literally seconds. So I am a powder girl through and through. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the same process on the other side. And I do have a code with Lunar Beauty if you want to try the powder out. It is just that good. Okay, so this is what the foundation is looking like set down, but I had no issues. Everything set pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I wanna come back and see how everything's looking. Okay guys, so I finished my makeup off camera. I'm just doing a normal light routine, but I have to say that everything is looking really good. It did powder down just fine. I didn't have any issues with anything being patchy or anything lifting, even though it's skincare based and it's hydrating. It's also compatible with powder if you use it like I do. So I feel like my skin looks pretty smooth. I do think that I am looking a little bit more textured on the side without the primer, so I would opt for the primer just to give me more of that flawless look. If I weren't doing a wear test, I probably would use a setting spray, either my Cali Ray to really lock it in and make it last longer, or even a hydrating setting spray just to kind of melt the powders in. But because I am doing a wear test on this foundation, I'm just gonna leave it as is. I'm also happy to report that I don't feel that heavy, sticky feeling once I have set this with powder. If you don't set it, you're going to have that really kind of hydrating emollient feel. If you do set it, that goes away. I do still feel like my skin is hydrated, and even looking in the viewfinder and in the mirror, I do feel like my skin does have a hydrated look to it without being like oily or greasy. So I can see their claim of it being hydrating and a satin finish. But again, I want to see how this wears. They do claim that this is long wearing. So I'm going to check back in about 4 hours or so. It's 10 a.m. right now, so I'm getting a little bit of a late start. So I'll try to check back in about 2 or 3 o'clock, and then we will do our final check-in around 6 because I do want to get this video up for you guys. So I will see you guys in a few hours, and fingers crossed that we're still looking good. All right guys, so I am back for my first check-in. Time got away from me a little bit. I've been editing. I went to do some errands, ate some lunch, and then I also did play with the dogs, so I did get a little bit sweaty. It is now 3:35, so it's been like 5.5 hours now, and I am noticing some things. So when I look at my complexion from afar, I feel like it looks pretty good. I'm actually surprised at how little oil has come through. I can definitely see a difference from the side with the primer versus no primer. So on the side with the primer, I feel like I look smoother overall, and I do have just less oils coming through. On the side with no primer, I'm seeing a little bit more, but really not much, just almost like it's settled into my skin. But here's the problem that I'm seeing. When I look up close, I can see that from sweating a little bit while I was playing with my dogs, you can see almost like a drip going straight down my forehead. That is a little bit concerning to me because I don't feel like I was crazy sweaty. I was just a little bit hot. I mean, it is hot and humid here. So the fact that it dripped down and completely came off my forehead makes me feel like I don't think this is long wearing. I also see a little bit of wear on my chin. Again, we're only like 5 hours in, 5.5 hours in. So it feels like a little bit more wear than I like. And then the weirdest part is right here on this side, I feel like my pores look quite enhanced even though I'm not oily or greasy, and it's actually worn off in this area, which I don't know why it would, other than just having a primer versus no primer. I think it may be possible to get a decent wear if you have a good primer and maybe a setting spray, but this is how it would look if I had put no primer on at all. So I am really glad that I did half and half. I think from afar or a distance, it looks pretty good. And I don't, again, feel greasy at all. So I feel like this would be a good formula for pretty much all skin types. The problem I'm having here is the fact that it is wearing off and it's not even been that long. So that is my only gripe at this moment. Everything else looks okay to me. So I want to see how this does in the next few hours. I'm going to try to do my final check-in around 6 o'clock so that I can get this video up today. But you guys will have to let me know down below what you think about how this is worn so far. But I'm going to go ahead ahead and do some more editing, go on with my day, have dinner, and then I'll come back and do my final check-in, and then I will get this video posted. So I will see you guys in a few hours. All right, guys, so I am back for my final check-in. It is now 6:08. I wanted to give at least a good 8 hours to this wear test, but I did want to get this video up. So of course I'm going to continue wearing the e.l.f. foundation. I'm going to try it with different products and give you guys a more in-depth review in the coming weeks. But in terms of how my skin is looking right now, I feel like I'm looking pretty similar to my last check-in. I am noticing some more wear on my chin area, pretty much all around my mouth and my chin. Just looks like it's worn off. It sort of looks dry, like it's kind of doing that thing where it's clinging, and that's something I don't typically deal with even with my matte foundations. Again, from afar, I feel like it looks okay. I would not classify this as a long wear foundation, especially because we are in the middle of summer. So if you're expecting to wear this and just go swimming or be sweating at the beach, I just don't think it's gonna work out. I feel like it's going to be a mediocre wearing product. Maybe would be better if you do use a setting spray or you use maybe like a gripping primer. So is it still on my face in most areas? Yes. But when you look up close, you start seeing things that look a little bit sketchy, a little bit patchy, a little bit dry. I do think that my oils are coming through a little bit more, and I do actually like the glow that I have other than just being texture enhancing right here. But I like the side with the primer a lot more. So overall, do I think it's a great foundation? No, I have to be honest. I think it's just mediocre. And for the price point, I do feel like you could go to Walmart and get a L'Oreal Infallible or something along those lines for $11, $12 that really is going to make your skin look beautiful all day long. I just don't feel like there's anything special about it in terms of how it makes your skin look initially, and the wear really just kind of turns me off altogether. I will have to keep testing this out. I would love to know your feedback down below. Let me know if you pick this up, what you think about how this is worn, and what your experience has been if you have tried it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. And of course, I will update you guys as I try this more. I will link it down below as well as all the other makeup that I'm wearing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.